Welcome back to Away We Go Traveling. Today we are breaking down our budget and our spending from our third month of full-time travel.
Right. If you don't know who we are, I'm Gary. This is Kara. We are an early retiree couple. We are currently traveling the United States because of our 14-year-old dog, Molly. And we're currently in St. Louis, as Kara mentioned. We're going to be heading to Michigan here shortly, here in the next few days. And then we're going to be heading down the East Coast. We're going to start up in Maine, work our way down the coast, and end up in Florida later this year. So follow along for our adventures. But for right now, we've got a budget for St. Louis we're going to talk about. So tell us where we got first. What we got?
All right, what we got? Obviously, whenever we travel, we have to stay somewhere. So our accommodations this time is through Furnished Finder. Yeah, it's a website. It's kind of like Airbnb, but it's a longer stay. It's a minimum of usually 3 months or so. So our accommodations, because we're only here for about a half more month, was $544.
Right, it's a partial month.
Partial month, yeah.
So that made it nice. We had a little bit of a wiggle room in there for our accommodations as well, which we managed to consume.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We'll get to that. So that made it easy. Usually our accommodations is our biggest expense. This month it was one of our smaller ones.
Truth.
It's good. So next up, we have our transportation. As I mentioned, we are traveling in the United States. We have a car. We have an SUV. So that requires gas. It requires insurance. It requires some maintenance at different periods of time. We also have Ubers and Lyfts, public transportation, all things having to do with transportation this month. We came in at $381.46. It's down about $500 from last month. So last month we had some car repairs. Not really repairs so much as just preventative maintenance because we're going to be moving on here shortly. We wanted to make sure we were good for the road. So this month it was pretty much just gas and insurance. So it was good. We saved a little bit of the, in addition to saving the money on accommodations, we saved some money on transportation this month. So that was good.
And we are responsible. When we started this out, we bought a used vehicle. So we do not have a payment. And that's what some of this maintenance is, just to keep it nice.
Yep. All right. What's up next?
All right. The next one we have, one of our favorite categories, restaurants, bars, and coffee.
Clearly one of our favorite categories.
Oh my God.
All right.
Is that number real?
That's a real number.
Gary put the numbers together.
I put the numbers together. And I think I made an audible noise while I was doing it, and she came from the inside. What is wrong?
Ooh.
All right.
I didn't know it looked like that.
What are you going to do?
Okay. So, and this is 1 month, right?
This is 1 month.
Okay. 1 month of restaurants, bar, and coffee, which I would say the middle category is probably the beef of that one. $2,096.79.
Correct.
79 cents matters.
I don't know if it matters. Holy cow, does that 2,000 matter? That's up 1,000 over last month. And last month I wasn't exactly happy with that.
No. Good.
But
that is an angry number.
It's an angry number. We unfortunately got a couple of wild hairs this month and decided, hey, let's do a video about speakeasies.
True.
Which nobody watched. So, we got that going for us. Go back and watch that because it'll help us, maybe make up for some of the money we spent on it. But going to 5 cocktail bars, actually,
it was like
six cocktail bars or 6 bars.
Coffee shop.
And then coffee shops. And I think one of them we went to twice.
True.
In a matter of a week or a week and a half. Really, really bumped that number a little bit.
Yeah.
But, whatever. We had that thing. We also had our train trip.
And that was with friends.
That was part of that. That was a planned train trip, so that added some money to it. But again, that added an expense. Train
trip being a day trip to a winery town on Amtrak. So that was super fun. We went with 2 friends of ours, and it was worth it. But yeah, it cost money.
Yeah, it did, and we have a video about that too. So
hey.
if you want to see if you want to see a couple of things about Amtrak day trips or things to do and not do on Amtrak, we got videos about that.
Cross promo.
Cross, but we also had. My kids visited for a weekend, for an extended weekend, and we were very generous to them. We took them out every day they were here, and we paid for all that stuff. So, basically a lot of that eating and drinking ended up being, 3 or 4 more humans that we were helping out for a weekend. So that added quite a bit.
And it was fun.
It was super fun. I had a blast.
Yeah.
I had a blast. And then we also had Father's Day.
Yeah.
And our parents had taken us out for Mother's Day, and they ended up paying. We didn't want them to, but they ended up paying. So we made sure we paid this time. So for Father's Day, we took out both of our parents and took them out to dinner. So that added, a bunch of expense. So it was just one of those months where we had sort of everything came together, but it is definitely a precautionary tale of paying attention to your budget and what eating out and drinking out will do to your budget if you're not careful. And that's, one of the things we really looked at when we were working on our budget for trying to determine if we could retire early was how can we reduce spending without reducing our joy? And a lot of that was just taking out some of that unnecessary eating and drinking out. Because we've never eliminated it, but we just try to do it strategically now.
Yeah, right. Strategically is a great term for it. This month, though, was no holds barred.
Nope. We let it go.
Whoops.
I can't promise that this next one won't be bad. Who knows? But, so we're on the way out, right? We've been in St. Louis for a little over 3 months. We've seen a lot of our friends, we did a lot of things, but we also realized we had a lot of people we hadn't seen. So we've been kind of cramming in dinners and drinks out with people because we want to make sure we see them before we leave town. So this month just had a lot of things, but it became a big number.
It's a large number.
Fortunately, we had that help with rent, and it kind of offset a lot of that. In fact, it offset almost all of it, but we didn't get any savings this month because of that. We managed to just move it from one category to another.
Correct.
So that's what it is. All right, next up, groceries. We've been really consistent. I think the last couple of months, we were right at like $425. This month, we actually came in at $321. We were $321.27, in fact. We were under by about $100, but I think that reflects how little we ate here.
Yeah, and that was a big money saver for us before we started traveling. Was we kind of cracked down, and instead of eating out so much, we started grocery shopping and eating and cooking at home. I think that shows, though, that it's not in a 1-to-1 ratio. If you eat out one meal versus eat in one meal, that is a massive difference. That's
a good point.
We spent $1,000 more. Yeah, there were more people involved, but we spent $1,000 more dollars.
Right, for $100 in groceries.
$100 in groceries.
Right. If you subtract the people, maybe it was only 100 to 500, but it might be a 5 to 1.
Yeah.
If you can pull back your eating out and drinking out a little bit, and bring it in house and make good meals in the house, your spending will go way down.
Yeah, that's a real way to contract your budget. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So,
all right. So our next one we have category is shopping and personal items. This is anything that we need to buy, like household supplies, clothes replacement, and that's a replacement. We're traveling, obviously, we set in an SUV, so there's no gathering more things. It's a one in, one out kind of thing. We had Father's Day, gifts and cards. So that total was $259.65.
Right.
That is a $400 less than last
month, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to swing wildly depending on if we need clothes that month, or like next month when we move on to Michigan, we're going to be going into a new Airbnb, and we're likely going to need things that we bought here and consumed. We'll have to do that again. So we'll see how the shopping budget works out when we switch locations next month. But for this month, it was not so bad.
Not so bad.
So the next thing up we have entertainment, which covers a variety of things. For this month, we were $564.86. That's up a couple $100 this month.
Sure is.
And that's okay. Again, I think we talked about this last month, but we'll talk about it again. We're not doing this to sit in this Airbnb. We're not doing this to just exist in this lifestyle, right? We're doing this so that we can have fun and do things we want to do. So this month that included, we went to a Cardinals game, we went to 2 Battlehawks football games. As we mentioned, we had the train trip that was in there, separate costs from what we ate and drank on there in one category to the actual trip itself. We went to a Civil War museum. We did a ghost tour. We did a lot of things and then we've also got our normal, we have a Peloton subscription, and some of our streaming services are kind of rolled up in there. While we've been here, we had a movie pass. I think that's, 30 or 40 bucks a month that we were using, but we go to, 2 or 3 movies a week too. And
Yeah.
it's part of our entertainment. So all that rolled up into there. We did a lot this month. We were very busy this month, got a lot of things. So I don't mind that number going up. And again, that will swing wildly too, depending on where we are. And if we want to have kind of a down month, or if we want to, get out there and do some stuff. So
Get out there.
get out there. All right.
So our next category is our phone. So that includes Apple TV. So this is our cell phone plans, and
It also includes that we still pay for the kids plan. So
yeah.
so and it hasn't changed. That's been $97.50 for the last 3 months, and it probably will be unless T-Mobile decides to raise the rates. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
That's what it is.
Yep.
That's just a kind of have to have in this society.
Yep. And then last up, we have our sort of a catch-all category for postage, storage, and mailbox. We do have a storage facility in Orlando, a very small one.
It's like a closet.
Yeah, it's not very big. We have a mail service, so we've got permanent address still in Orlando. All of our mail goes there. They scan it. We got to pay for that.
Mhm.
If we want anything shipped to us from that mail service, we have to pay for that. So that will swing a little bit every month, but it's really inexpensive. So this month we spent $16 on that, and I think it was just like last month. We didn't have anything shipped to us, so that was pretty light. So our total.
Drum roll.
We love the drum roll.
I do love a drum roll.
You should get a drum.
It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it would fit in the SUV though.
Get a tiny drum, the world's tiniest drum.
Like for Molly,
Molly owns a drum.
a Chihuahua-sized drum set.
Yes.
All right, here it is. And
$4,553.18, which really isn't that bad. It's actually down 1,000 from last month, but
down 1,000 from last month.
right. But I think when you kind of look at the numbers and where they swung this month, we saved a bunch on accommodation. We saved a bunch on the car. We saved a bunch on shopping, and then we added it back with bars, restaurants, and entertainment.
With a vengeance.
We did. But we didn't add it all back. Clearly, we didn't add it all back.
True.
So,
Yeah. We did all right.
it really helped. I mean, I guess even had our accommodations been where they had been, we would have been at about 5,500, maybe 5,700. So we may have been up a little bit over last month, maybe within 100 or two. So I think overall we did about the same. But we knew we had a little bit of budget overhead this month, so we kind of let it go. But we'll see how we get to next month when we're at a new place with a new accommodation amount and a new location and people we don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be... Next month is probably going to be our first full, no kidding. Even though we've been out here for 3.5 months on the road, it's going to be the first time we're going to be almost like a hard landing. Because here in St. Louis, we know people. Where we're going, we don't need roads. I'm kidding. Where we're going, we don't know anybody. We need roads. We're driving.
I haven't done the flux capacitor modification to the
Dr.
SUV
Fusion?
yet. Nope,
Mr. Fusion?
not yet.
I don't know if he got his degree. But we're not going to know anyone. So it's going to be an interesting, at least for the next month, not knowing anyone. We're going to find a lot of things to do. So this will be exciting.
Yeah. Stick around.
Stick around.
We'll do this budget thing again. Or other things we do too. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, thanks for joining us. If you like what we got going on here, please subscribe, thumbs up, comment. We like comments. We got a really great comment from a video from 2 weeks ago, and we've actually been using that to make some changes and come up with some video ideas. So
Yeah.
we're learning as we go. We're not storytellers. We're not content creators.
We're a couple of
two
like
middle-aged people
who did IT for
fussing
careers.
through YouTube. So
Yeah.
if you got ideas for us, let us know. We love them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. And it's Molly. Hi, Molly.
Bonus footage. Molly.
Hi, Molly. Hi, sweet baby. Mwah.
This is the bonus Molly cam.
She got woken up from a nap for this, so
She's sleepy.
appreciate that because she was very mad about us taking out of her blanket.
She's like, let's say hi. Say hi, Molly. Say hi to the people. Yay. Hello, my name is Molly. Oh, dear the girl. Yeah, she'll be 14 in August.
Party for her.
Molly, say bye.
Bye, Molly. Oh, there you go. She said bye.
She said,
Well done. I guess she speaks English.
Good girl.
All right, see you for real this time.
Okay, bye.